The Story of Pearl, 2022. In 1918, Pearl is a young woman living with her German immigrant parents on their Texas homestead, while her husband, Howard, is serving in World War I. Pearl's father is infirm and paralyzed, and her domineering mother, Ruth, insists that she help care for both him and the farm. Pearl, longing for a more exciting life, is captivated by the films she sees at the local cinema and aspires to become a chorus girl, much to Ruth's disapproval. At the cinema, Pearl meets a young projectionist who takes a liking to her. While riding her bicycle home, Pearl stops along a cornfield and begins dancing with a scarecrow, fantasizing about the projectionist, and masturbates with it. She later sneaks out of the house at night and visits the projectionist, who shows her a free ride, an illicit stag film he acquired in Europe. He encourages Pearl to pursue her dreams. Pearl comments that she cannot abandon her family and that she wishes they were dead. Pearl's affluent sister-in-law, Mitzi, tells her of an audition being held to acquire new dancers for a traveling troupe, which Pearl envisions as a way out of her circumstance. When Ruth finds a pamphlet Pearl took from the cinema, the two get into a fierce argument over dinner. A physical altercation erupts, during which Pearl shoves her mother against the kitchen hearth, igniting her dress and resulting in Ruth suffering life-threatening burns. Pearl drags Ruth into the basement and leaves her father seated in the kitchen. She flees to the cinema in torrential rain, where she has sex with the projectionist. In the morning, the projectionist drives Pearl back to the farm so she can prepare for the audition. He is perturbed by a now maggot-infested roasted pig Mitzi's mother left for Ruth the day prior, and by inconsistencies Pearl has told him, as well as by her extremely theatrical behavior. When he attempts to leave, Pearl flies into a fit of rage at his abandonment of her and stabs him to death with a pitchfork before pushing his car with his corpse in it into a pond where an alligator she has nicknamed Theta eats his remains. Pearl dresses herself in one of Ruth's lavish gowns and dresses up her father before smothering him to death. Pearl arrives at the church where the audition is being held. She gives a dance performance she feels will win over the talent scouts, but is profoundly distraught when she is rejected for not being young, blonde, or all-American. Mitzi accompanies her home in an attempt to console her. In the kitchen, Pearl makes a lengthy confession to Mitzi about her resentment toward Howard, who came from a privileged background but insisted that the couple remain on her family's farm. She further confesses her feelings of alienation and insecurity, and to taking the lives of her parents and the projectionist. A stunned Mitzi attempts to leave, falsely assuring Pearl she will not divulge their conversation. However, when Pearl forces Mitzi to confess that she was chosen by the talent scouts, Pearl chases her down the driveway and kills her with an axe. Pearl dismembers Mitzi's body and feeds her corpse to Theta, before going into the basement and lying with the deceased Ruth. Having reached the conclusion that her mother was correct and that Pearl should make the best of what she has, she decides to remediate her wrongdoings by creating a comfortable home for Howard when he returns from the war. The next morning, Howard arrives unexpectedly. In the kitchen, he is horrified to find the bodies of Pearl's parents seated at the dining table around a rotting pig. Pearl greets him with a protracted pained expression of joy.